and you get a little satisfaction out of that, maybe.
Yeah, and you develop a little bit of connection with the product. And
Yes.
especially when it comes to things like, oh, okay, let's change the wheels out, put new wheels on it, or paint up a body, or tune
Yeah.
something on the car and adjust something. And it's like, okay, now I'm making it my own.
Yeah.
It's got bits of my personality in it in some way.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect almost.
Yes. I
So
agree. So what's your plan with RC? Do you see a good future here for yourself? Do you still continue to work on YouTube? What's the deal?
I'm going to continue for as long as I can. As long as I can, I'll keep driving as long as I have two opposable thumbs and good health. I'll keep driving and I'll keep
That's
flying as
great.
well because I do love flying airplanes and all that. So I'll just keep doing what I do until one day maybe I'll wake up and I'll just be bored of it or sick of it. But I don't see that day anytime soon. It's a very fun hobby to be in. I've made so many friends, so many connections all around the world. I mean, yourself as an example.
Hmm.
If it wasn't for this hobby, I would not be talking to somebody in New York at the moment.
Yep.
So
I
it's
love
a
the shirt,
wonderful
by the
hobby.
way.
Sorry.
I love your shirt, by the way. You got New York on there.
Oh yeah, I do too. so, so yeah, I wouldn't be. Yeah, it's just been an amazing ride to jump back into it and do the whole YouTube thing, and something that started off as a hobby for me is now part of my life because I work in the industry. I work in a hobby store and
Hmm.
it's just grown into what it has today. Now, what the future holds, I mean, I'm going to keep going where I'm going, and try to grow and try to do things better and be the best that I can be in this industry. But you never know. New doors might open, new things
Yeah.
might come around, and things might change. But for now, I'll steady the course and keep going and keep doing what I do.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Because you got a great message, and I hope you keep doing it, man. Because
Cheers.
you. I have to say, you did inspire me to a degree to jump in as well and say, you know what, time to go back in time a little bit and feel like a kid again and jump out there and RC. You
Well,
know.
I mean, that's it. I mean, the fact that this is a very much an outdoor
Yes.
hobby,
Yeah.
but it also is a very much indoor hobby when you are tinkering, doing your maintenance, doing your customizations and repairs and things like that. You can do that on a rainy day, and on a sunny day you go out and enjoy the product and
Right.
drive it, fly it, whatever. So it's a good hobby to be in, and you make a lot of friends because when I'm out at the park, just at the local park, flying a small aeroplane or whatever, there's always people walking their dogs that swing by and stop. Oh,
Sure.
how did you get it from? How do I get one? And,
Yep.
little kids, can I have a shot? Can I try it? So
Yep.
there's a lot of things, and even in my videos, you'll see there's a couple of videos that I did a few months ago where I went to the BMX track and I was out there driving my cars, and there was a whole bunch of kids there, and they were
Hmm.
all watching and laughing, chasing after the car. They were flipping it over for me when it flipped upside down, and asking all sorts of questions. And a lot of the comments in that video were, this is fantastic. You've probably inspired those kids to ask their
Yeah.
parents for an RC car as opposed to another video game, to be under the
Right.
Christmas tree. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So and things like that. So it's really good to see that type of response and to have that type of influence, because at the moment we are living in a world where everybody has a screen attached to their
Yeah.
eyeballs.
Or
You
they're
know
indoors a lot, right?
exactly. And my kids, look, I have all these toys and everything. My kids have almost no interest in any of this,
Wow.
which is ironic. You know what I mean? I've
Yeah.
tried so hard to get them into it. My daughter is just as far north of this as you can imagine.
Yeah.
My son, I drag him into it when he helps me with the speed runs. So you'll
Hmm.
see him in videos
I
from
do
time
see
to
him.
time.
Yep. I see him
Yeah, so
gunning it.
you'll
Yep.
see in the earlier videos he's only about this big. Now he's about this big. So
Yeah. Yeah.
he shows up on the videos. But yeah, he's a good soul. He always helps me out. So he'll be around.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and one of the questions I had, when I got back into this was, I didn't even know how popular it really was. So you've been in it longer than me when you jump back into it, and So where is the popularity of it today? Has it grown? Has it taken a step back? I don't know because I wasn't in 2 years prior, but before when I got in.
I think it's growing quite considerably because there has been a strong focus on certain genres of the hobby. If you look at when I got back into it, I didn't know the first thing about crawlers.
Ah, yeah,
So when 8 years ago, RC Sparks was very heavy into the whole crawler game, and you look at brands like Axial, for example,
yeah,
who really were at the pointy end of leading the pack into that genre, and people, I mean, that side of the hobby just completely exploded.
yeah. It's
You know,
amazing.
yeah, it's been absolutely amazing, and now you've got all these other brands that have jumped on top of that whole crawler genre. I mean, you look at Traxxas, for example.
Hmm.
Hobao brought out a crawler.
Oh wow.
Charisma's got crawlers. There's just crawlers everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Trail trucks and all that sort of thing. So it's definitely grown in popularity. And then you look at the other side of, say, speed runs. You look at brands like
yeah,
Traxxas brought out the X01. Armour's now got 3 cars in their lineup that are speed street bashers, right? And no doubt there'll be other companies that will probably jump on board and bring out other cars like that as well in the future.
yeah. I think I've even saw Red Cat has some crawlers now too.
Yep,
Uh,
the car got
you know,
crawlers, yeah. And then the
uh,
bashing scene, being able to just rocket ship cars off ramps into the moon, you know,
amazing.
that has inspired releases from Armour like the EXB line. They just announced the EXB Mojave.
Oh wow.
They got the EXB Creighton, and then every time they bring out one of these cars, it's got better improvements from the previous one to try and make them stronger and tougher to
Yeah,
take this all of this abuse that all these people are putting onto these cars. So it's almost like the racing sector has either become a bit more of a stalemate or has taken a step back. But the bashing scene, the ready to run scene within all these little genres, these little pockets, I think it's grown and it will continue to grow. As long as guys like us continue to sort of showcase these products
yeah,
and show what they can do, um, this is just going to continue to grow more and more.
yeah. I totally agree. I mean, I never when I got back into scene, I never heard of Arma, and I had no idea, who they were, and I know they've been around for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
I've heard of Traxxas, and I never got a Traxxas prior when I was in my Tamiya days. I think I had a Team Lozi car. That was about, the extent of my, you know, good car was a Team Lozi car. I had a JRX2, and that was a sweet car. But then after that, once the nitro stuff got started coming in, I kind of lost interest
Yeah.
in the whole RC thing. And then high school came along, and there was sports and college and all that stuff. So things got in the way. But when I saw the armor cars on the market, which I've never seen before, I was like, oh my God, they look so mean looking, like they look so like, holy cow. And seeing some of their promo videos, so I would think they're probably helping with the excitement because I mean, they've been releasing stuff like crazy,
The
the
last
past.
yeah the last 2 or 3 years they've been absolutely going gangbusters on their new releases.
Yeah.
So they've definitely come back strong from the Hobbyco days.
Yeah.
They had a year in limbo, I think, roughly, where we didn't know what was going on with Armour, and then once Horizon Hobby picked them up,
Uh-huh.
they spent a lot of that time designing and coming up with ideas of what they were going to do with their products and what product lines they were going to reintroduce. So it's been really good to see them grow and go from strength to strength,
Yeah.
to see where they are today. And who knows, in another year or two, they could have a lot more product out there, and who knows what they'll do. It'll be pretty
Yeah.
crazy.